All right, everybody, it's the Jere Metcalf podcast where top agents tell how they do it. Today, we are so excited to have my dear friend, Francisco Bird, on the show, top agent in Miami, Florida. Francisco, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
So, tell us a little about yourself and start out with kind of give us your background story. For example, you grew up in Puerto Rico. You always knew Miami was your home. How you ended up in Miami, and where in there did you become a real estate agent and why?
Hey, so ever since I was a little kid, we used to spend the majority of the summers in Miami. We used to go down to the Florida Keys, spend maybe a whole month down here. And ever since I was a little kid, I would always tell my parents that at some point in my life, I wanted to live in Miami. So I remember the first university that accepted me was Florida International University. Now, I'm a very social person, so for my parents, it was very difficult. They knew that probably the least I was going to do was study. So, like, I looked into different options, and I ended up in Atlanta. So, working in Atlanta, going to school in Atlanta I remember my last final was July the 27th. July the 28th at 7 in the morning, I was already in Miami. So my dream came true.
Wow. So you went to school here in Atlanta. Now I know
Yeah.
for a period of time there you worked for Coca-Cola. Was that when you were
That was
here in Atlanta?
my first job out of college.
Wow. So you wait. So you finished school.
Hmm.
Where did your job? I say Coca-Cola because there's Coke construction and then there's Coca-Cola Coke. So I just
Yeah.
say Coca-Cola so nobody gets confused. But give me like where you were when.
Okay, so right after I graduated, I moved down here to work for Coca-Cola in
Okay, so
sales.
you work for Coca-Cola in Miami.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that was
Okay.
August 2nd, 2011 was my first day at Coca-Cola. And
Wow.
for 3 years now, during that term, I have some family members. Some of them own properties here in South Florida, and my aunt and uncle came with this great idea of why didn't I get my license to sell their home. So of course I got my license. I did not sell their home. It was a little too far away for me.
Yeah.
But I got so involved and I liked it so much that back in 2014, I decided to continue in real estate as my full-time job. And ever
Wow.
since then, I have never regret that decision.
So tell us a little bit about that transition. 2011, you graduate from college, you get a job immediately, like the next day. You don't, which I think, like, I'm going to note to everybody the one thing that top agents or any agent that's going to make it in any capacity in this business is that, like, you don't let grass grow under your feet. You set out to do something. Of course, you're with Compass. We all know about principle number two: move fast. You moved fast. Um, so anyway, you tell us about my point in bringing that up was tell us about that transition from working for Coca-Cola. How did you cut that cord and jump into real estate full time? I think that's a big question for a lot of people in business and even in transitions at whatever level of business that we're in.
Yeah. So basically, to me, I was working so hard, and basically I was earning a salary. So I could sell a million cases a year, and I would still have my same base salary. Now I thought to myself, I'm a go-getter. I'm a person that I'm not scared of going out and meeting new people. I'm not scared of door knocking. I'm not scared of basically showing up and saying, "Hey, I'm here. I want to do business." So I decided that if I went to real estate, I could set my own boundaries. I could decide what I wanted to do, how
But
much
you
I
could
wanted.
meet your boundaries. Your boundaries were set, and you were surpassing those already in your job at the time.
So basically, I could decide on my own where I wanted to be in life.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest change in my career. Basically, going from a 9 to 5 job into I'm doing what I love doing, and I'm setting my own goals, setting my own even earnings, if you could say.
So I want to know. This is a question I ask everybody. Well, I want to reiterate what you said though. Is basically it was kind of like a heart thing. Like I'm doing this. I'm doing really well. I'm not even. If you look at what you were selling and what you were out there getting done, your salary was kind of beneath that. It wasn't structured in a way to pay you for that. You figured out your gifts and your skills, maximize your strengths. I swear I'm not trying to do the compass thing. That's a compass one. But you went out, you like maximized your strengths and got into real estate. So on maximizing your strengths, I always love asking people this question, and I have my own answer because you and I have known one another for 2 or 3 years now.
About 2 or 3 years.
So maximize your strengths though. What do you think it is? What are your strengths and weaknesses can sometimes be strengths in your role in business? What do you think it is that gives you your edge and gives you such success in real estate?
So I think as far as strengths is, I'm a go-getter. Like I'm not scared of going out there. Um, I'm not worried about, hearing the word no. To me, a no is like, people say the more no's, the closer to a yes. So as
Right.
far as like that resilience and the going out there, the go-getting, um, I guess, mentality that I have, I think that's my biggest strength.
Well, and I
Now,
want to give a great example. So you and I met in Miami at a convention with like 600 or so people.
that was about 600, yeah.
Right. I was on a panel. So a lot of people, I was on a panel, I was a guest. So I was, getting wined and dined, and it was wonderful. And I was meeting a lot of people. But you and I don't remember if you literally like honed in, and it wasn't in a way that you did it beautifully because you honed in, you knew who I was, you knew what my interests were, you made a point to meet me, and you made a point to learn about me. The next time you were in Atlanta, you checked in, you followed up, we had coffee. But my point in saying that is a lot of times people will see somebody like, hey, I want to get to know them, but they just kind of don't. Or they're like, they wait for it to happen, and you make it happen. And
Yeah.
since then, we've done several referrals, closed deals between us, and made great things happen. And we're actually working on a couple right now because of your initiative to come in and meet somebody and put yourself out there, and not in an awkward way, not in a, you get people that are always like, oh, like get out of your comfort zone. Like, okay, yeah, but make sure that you also are, getting out of your comfort zone, but like let's be sure it's productive the way you do it is my whole point. So elaborate for us a little bit on that, or some examples of things you have done in business, whether it's with us or with other relationships or other deals that made things happen that wouldn't have
So
otherwise.
to me, like I have the urge of talking, so I try to look for common grounds. So for example, when I
Yeah.
met you, we had something in common. You live in Atlanta, and
Atlanta.
I went to college in Atlanta. So to me, it was so easy to break that ice. And then all of a sudden, maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, I am traveling to Atlanta, so I touch base with you. Now, with anyone else, it's more to me. It's easier when you find a common ground, and basically that's the way to like break the ice and start a conversation. After that conversation is started, it's so easy to like find someone in something you can talk about, something you guys have in common to establish that
Exactly.
conversation and hopefully a relationship. And
So
that's kind of like my business motto. So I don't establish just a conversation or a connection. I establish a relationship, which
exactly.
in turn it's what has made basically my business.
That's awesome. So give us some examples, because the few things I think are interesting about you is that you're doing that not just with potential clients and other people, but you're also doing that with other real estate agents. How and where did you figure out that there was actually value? I think that's missed often in our business in knowing other agents.
To me, I look at it from this point of view. Everyone in life needs a roof over their head. So it could be another agent, it could be anyone. If that person is not interested in renting, buying, or selling a property, they may know someone else. Another example, if a top agent or any other agent gets a lead that they cannot work on, hey, I'm here. I could give you a hand. Hopefully, you can establish a business relationship.
Yeah.
So anyone, and I mean, everyone needs a roof over their head. So anyone you meet is a potential client.
Well, in our business, because I'm big on specializing, but that's also, anyone I meet is not just, like you said, it's not just an opportunity for business. the better way to go about business is going after referrals anyway, and that's is it going out for referrals for other people or going out for referrals for my business. But that gives you, it's almost a more, it seems less self-serving and uncomfortable and easier to engage because you're really just out there helping people. And I always
Yeah.
say this, but if there's any purpose we've got, it's to help others. So there you go. What are you no, go ahead, go
So
ahead.
along your lines, and
Yeah.
also something that I try to do is I never look at the commission, what's being offered. I always make sure that my client, it's a long-term decision someone is making. If you're paying attention to your pocket as an agent, you're already missing something. If you're making sure your client is happy in a short and long-term decision, that's what we should get back. It's that the excitement of that client that we did our job and we're making sure that they're happy where they are.
Exactly, exactly. I love that. It's so true. And it's amazing how when you focus on others and helping others, like literally the business just comes back to you or good things come back to you. It's actually surreal. But I've had a lot of situations where I've gone and just done things for agents or people just because I could and I was just being nice. And like in some direct or indirect way, it's just like abundance flows into your life as a result of it.
Exactly.
It's kind of a, so for you that, but it really is, it's like a frequency thing. It's like if you live on that frequency and do things on that frequency, life happens on that frequency.
Yeah.
What do you feel, or what is your greatest success? What do you think your greatest success is, or what are you most proud of in your real estate career?
So there's two sides to that question. There's, as far as business wise, I think the greatest success I've had was last I'm sorry, this year, at the beginning of this year, I got these two new listings, two brand new homes. Those two homes were on the market for about 2 years. They were correctly priced. They were a little overpriced. I'm sorry, but so many other things could have been done. So when I took over the listing, I suggested a few things like staging and maybe say taking some different type of photography, some twilight photos, and I was able to sell those homes within 3 months after those homes
Wow.
being
So you
sold.
think was the difference marketing, engaging with the potential buyers, a combination? What do you think the difference was that you brought to the table?
The difference was the marketing. There's a lot of people don't pay attention to detail, and being a brand new home, uh, let me go back. When you take pictures of a property, a lot of people just take a picture of a room, but a picture of a room doesn't really say much. You're
Right.
seeing four walls and a window. Now, when you take pictures of that room with where you can see the bathroom as well and the closet, and you can kind of tell or make it easier for people to understand the space and where that room is located inside that house, it
Mm-hmm.
makes a bit of a difference. Same thing with, let's say you're taking a picture of the living room. If you just take a picture of that living room and that's it, you're only seeing that living room. But what about the spaces around that living room? You have the family room, you have the kitchen, all that. So it's that marketing side of it, or the marketing background helps me basically make decisions as far as what to include or where what to use as a standpoint instead of just basically taking a picture of something.
Yeah.
Uh, and also going, with the staging, it was more of a lot of people. It's very hard for a lot of people to visualize spaces. So with the staging, you're basically showing a person what they can do with the spaces. That's like my best
Well, I
business.
think, yeah, I would sum that it's focusing in marketing from the client's experience, marketing from the client's perspective is how's the client going to be able to see this room and actually experience the house and experience in positive light, which also takes it into marketing is a little bit of an art. How are, pictures that give you a sense of what the space is like and also are going to be capture your attention. Like for some of our stuff on Instagram, there's a certain kind of photograph that catches people's attention on Instagram. On YouTube, it might be more of a video or doing live streaming or different things like that that capture people's attention on that platform and also give them back to, I always say, start with the client's experience. Like, how are they going to be able to experience the house and want to buy it from the marketing that you're doing?
Exactly. So now
Tell,
from like going from business to more of a personal,
uh huh.
I would say that all the clients that I've had have become friends. So to me, going
Yeah.
from a business relationship into a friendship, it means even more for me because it feels so fulfilling. You know, going from helping someone make a big decision in their life into being friends. I mean, it definitely means you did a good job because they're still talking to you.
Yeah. That's
But
always a good thing because a lot of
it's
people
so
don't like their real
fulfilling.
estate agent when they're done. So, unfortunately. Yeah, it's so true. Well, I mean, it's you make friends with people on a whole new level, right? I mean, there are people I've been friends with before, and then after they're my client, suddenly it's like they're like really my friend. Like they were my friend or my acquaintance, and then we do a deal, and then it's like, oh my God, like you just have an opportunity to bond and go through something that's so special and such a honor to be able to help somebody do that. So no,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I don't know if I'd have any friends if I wasn't a real estate agent. So, anyway, um, what do you? Okay, so I promised you I wouldn't ask you this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Or you may shoot me. But what is your biggest aha? Because you're making fun of my question. What is your biggest aha, or what's your biggest epiphany about this business once you got into it and got going?
I would say I was very stubborn at the beginning. I didn't want to listen. I thought that with my marketing background, I knew everything.
Ah,
And yes. And then all of a sudden, I started listening. And I'm like, wow, it was so simple. And I made it so difficult.
so like it, yeah, like you were trying to treat it like you're like the corporate Coca-Cola job, and it's like no, really, just like so. And so it was so simple, but give us for you. I think we kind of know what it is, but give us for you what you probably went through fancy marketing concepts and this and that, right? Or kind of you went
It,
from where to where when you had that epiphany.
it was more of I thought I knew everything. So I did, let's say when I first started real estate, I did a couple of open houses. And out of my first 5 or 6 open houses, I thought that, you know, not a lot of people were walking in. So I thought this doesn't work. Open houses do work.
Right.
I mean, if you continue doing it, if you're patient, it does work.
Yeah.
So after a couple, maybe after a year or two, I started getting leads. I mean, not I didn't start getting. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Uh, the open houses, those leads were turning into clients, and I was closing on those leads.
Like, oh wow, look at that. So what do you
Exactly.
think though? What was the biggest piece of advice that you finally took that you wouldn't take before? I mean, it might have been making phone calls, asking for referrals, or what was that biggest piece of advice that really made your business shift?
Following up. Following
Ah,
is so important.
yes. Yeah, and as we get busier in this business, following up can become more and more of a challenge. What are your, from the beginning, following up was just a matter of doing it, and then as you become successful and pick up more and more clients, do you have systems, rules? What do you have in place to make sure you keep that follow up going throughout your career?
So I started using a CRM. When I first started, I made the biggest mistake probably of not putting everything down in paper, not putting everything down something that reminded me.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I was focused on getting new business, like
Right.
anyone else would do, but I was forgetting about the people I already made a connection with.
Yeah.
So with
Which are the
CRM,
easier
I
ones.
started selling up. Yeah, I started selling up like reminders for follow up, and it has worked wonders.
Wow. Wow. So I know we've got the Compass CRM. Have you engaged with that yet? Or are you still waiting? Are you using another CRM? Or what are you doing right now?
No, right now I'm using the Compass CRM. Basically, I inputted everything into the CRM. I added all my contacts. Right now, I'm using it more as a like an address book, and it's really nice because you can also use it on your phone. So even when you're going through the app, you
So
can see
true.
those names, and it reminds me you have to touch base with them again. But I was using another one called Top Producer. I don't know if you've heard of
Yeah.
it. Very
Yeah.
common.
Yeah.
I was
A lot
using
of
that
people have
one.
used that one as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
and now I've switched over to
And
see
if you don't have Compass, what the Compass CRM, is there a CRM that you would recommend, or do you have a favorite? Is it Top Producer, or is it I Love Contactually, or
so I
Real
used
Evolve, or
Contractually.
yeah.
Contractually was nice, but I definitely liked Top Producer better. I think Top Producer is a little more organized.
Really? So what did you like about? Was it the marketing pieces, or I'm
I
like a
mean,
Contactually fan, so I'm like, really?
it was more
Contactually
of
makes it fun. Nobody like we can't tag Top Producer in this because then I'll get in trouble. But anyway.
it was more of a like I can see exactly what's going on in my business and exactly how much I am expecting in the near future. It was
Right.
more,
Oh, see, you got to upgrade and contactually do all that. There, contactually has that too. You just didn't upgrade enough.
I
So,
didn't upgrade more.
yeah, I upgraded. And then I've got the Compass CRM for free. I use that too. I use the workflows and contactually until we get those in place at Compass because I love the workflows for contactually. And RealVolve, I think, has those too.
Yeah.
Um, so let's talk about what is one thing that you wish you knew, and it might be the same answer as your epiphany, but is there one thing you wish you knew when you started this business that you know now?
Um, I think yeah, more of my epiphany, following up.
Just follow up with
I
people,
made
right?
the biggest mistake,
You know,
and
mine was like just ask for the business, like just ask for a referral, which I don't do as much of that now because of the way I've positioned and promoted myself over time. But yeah, or just like follow up. That's a big one.
there was a turning point in my career. This was about 2 years ago. I was working with a very wealthy client. His budget was somewhere around 8 to 8.5 million dollars, and I showed him about 7 or 8 properties. We ended up having lunch several times after that, but I lost touch. I didn't follow up, and he ended up
Uh,
buying the property from someone else.
oh, oh my
Yes,
gosh. And you're just like, seriously?
yes.
Seriously.
But I think
Yeah.
it was a great experience because from that I learned.
Yeah,
And
exactly. I mean, that's the right
my
attitude to have. Like, you can either like be a victim and poor pitiful me, or be like, "Hey, not gonna do that again. What can I do? Can't, should have." I'm gonna Wayne Dyer quote here, but Wayne Dyer, in like one of his old, what was it? No Limits People speech that's recorded. You can get it on Amazon. But Wayne Dyer talks about like you can't should have anything. Like you can't
Mhm.
even go there. You can't should have, but you can certainly change what you do next time or learn from it. So that's
Exactly.
huge. That's a great, see, yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And that's also a great example. I always like to ask people, like, what's like something like in your business that happened and you're like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, that was so bad. And how did you make something good out of it? Or do you have any more examples of that for us?
That's the most hurtful example.
I know. You know, I'll give you a great one because Jeff Wilson gave us this a while back, but this was really good. He had a client who he had shown around, and they came and they thanked him for all his time and let him know that they bought something on their own. And I
Mhm.
mean, a lot of agents would freak out, react, kind of shun them. How could you, whatever. And he just said, okay, thanks. Thanks. You know, what he was polite, nice, moved on. And the same client referred him another client who bought something after one view with him, listed a house, referred it. I mean, he got like 10 deals out of the one client that really didn't go so well. So, I mean, that was because of how he handled it.
And that happens often. I
Yeah.
mean, that's happened to me several times before. Maybe not 10 deals, but at least two or three.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Or you get one and you've lost it and you're like, are you kidding me? But then you think about the other ones that if you just forge ahead, keep moving, and keep your momentum, the magic that can happen. Where would you say that you get? Oh, go ahead.
Actually, I wanted to add two more things
Please.
along the lines of from one deal you can get several. We just closed this month. One of my teammates, she closed 2 deals with the same person. The person inherited some money and he wanted to invest in a condo here in Miami, and he had such a great experience with her that 3 days later they went on their contract on another condo, which
Wow.
closed. I think it was last Monday. So
Wow. Tell us a little bit about your team. How are you? How many people do you have on the team now? How are y'all structured? Because when we met, you were on a team, and now you've got a team. Yeah.
yes. So when I was in a team, I definitely learned a lot. My It wasn't my goal to start my own team. It basically just came along the way. One of a good friend of mine, she has had her license for a while and she needed some guidance, someone to kind of like help her through the first couple of deals, and we started working together. When we joined Compass, I brought her with me from my previous company, and we started working as a team. Now it's called the Bird Group.
Mm-hmm.
So we started just the two of us, and now we have a third addition to the team, which is just starting. She's learning the industry. She's focusing right now more on marketing and helping us market our properties and basically put our name and actually our name out there.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
slowly she's gonna start getting into the transaction side.
So do you
But
have anybody set on the administrative side, or keep going? Yeah, because you've got how many? Is that three or?
right now it's three of us.
Okay.
Three of us, and someone that kind of manages like the photo and video side. He's not really a team member. He's more of a friend that would like to get into real estate soon. He's in the on the mortgage lending side, but
Okay.
he's trying to make that transfer and slowly learning from what we do.
Oh, that's great. So you've got somebody who helps schedule the photo shoots, the marketing, then you've got somebody helping with the marketing who's on the team,
Yes,
and then you've got you and another active agent on the team. Now, do you split
exactly.
it up where I know some team member or some teams, it's like all the listings go under the team lead and everybody else represents buyers, and you've got a couple admins, or how do you structure it?
It's more of from my point of view. I the most important thing is that everyone's happy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when you join a team, I think it's very important for everyone to be amicable and if one day that person wants to say like, "Hey, I want to go on my own," that you're still friends with that person. I
Right.
see very often where someone leaves a team, but they don't leave in good terms with that other the team lead. So to me, it's very important. Relationships are extremely important, like I've mentioned several times before.
Yeah.
Uh, so basically, yes, like everything goes under a team lead, and then a co-agent, which would be the person who brought the client or brought the listing. Now, as far as the splits, that's basically it really depends on who's doing the work and
Right.
what everyone deserves. And I think we try to be as accurate and as I guess not friendly, more of
See, but you arrange splits on a deal by deal basis.
yes, everything is on a deal by deal
Yeah.
basis.
Okay, cool.
Is it?
No, go ahead.
It's it's really what's fair, you know.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But you're the team lead. You're the ultimate decision maker. Probably most of the business funnels through you. You fund the marketing, and then you've got people that you're basically mentoring on the team with you with different roles to help support the business.
Exactly.
Awesome. So, what do you think? Where does we kind of have touched on this, but if you had to sum it up, where would you say most of your business comes from that comes to you and your team?
Definitely our sphere of influence.
And how do you engage that? Ask for referrals, keep follow up, phone calls? Does it kind of come to you? Do you go after it?
So it's been, I guess in my case, it's been a little bit different. I don't know if you're aware, but Puerto Rico had a mass exodus in the last 7 or 8 years.
Right, so that was easy. Right. It kind of came to you that way. But you had to
Yeah,
position yourself so that you were still the obvious choice, right?
yeah. So basically, within my sphere of influence amongst my friends in Puerto Rico, I still have all of my friends on Facebook, Instagram, but I constantly market myself within the sphere of influence, and I mean, it has worked wonders because I can give you several examples.
Please, yeah.
Yeah, I was in Puerto Rico last week.
Mm-hmm.
I went to help out my aunt and uncle. They're listing their condo down there. So through one of my connections that I've made throughout the years,
Yeah.
is listing the property down there. But as I arrived to the airport to come back to Miami, someone that I hadn't seen in maybe 7 to 10 years, to be honest, I don't know the exact number. He came up to me, we started talking, and one of the first things he said is like, "Oh, you're in real estate, right? Like I see everything that you post on Facebook." And he started asking me questions about real estate and investing.
Yeah.
It's definitely working. And from other examples, a current client of mine, he was talking to one of his friends back in Puerto Rico, and this person they started talking about he was interested in buying a house, and his friend said, "Oh, there's this guy called Francisco Bird. He sells real estate in Miami." He's like, "Yeah, he's my agent."
That's awesome. I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier, where you position yourself in a market through marketing, through Facebook, and through literally you have this entire sphere of influence in Puerto Rico. Most of those guys are probably moving to Miami, and so because you're positioned on Facebook and you've got this history and time with them, that kind of it's like here you are. Here are these transactions to be had, and you kind of the gap in between is non-existent. You kind of become their obvious an immediate choice to do business. But even so, you've got marketing and presence, and that marketing gives you, you've got the character, people talk about character and competence, you've got the character of the history in Puerto Rico and with them, and most of them are your friends, and then you've got the competence of you've been doing it for a few years, and you show that data and the marketing and everything you're doing on Facebook.
Exactly.
So give us,
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, we already have a common ground, so I
Yeah,
don't have to build that new relationship. It's already
exactly.
built.
Yeah. And what is an example? Have you found that any certain type of marketing piece on Facebook works more than another, or is it really just being consistently present?
So definitely stuff that provides value to the client. Stuff that someone can read and take ideas from it. And I want to quote Amit. You actually interviewed Amit Buta a
Yeah.
couple of, I
Yeah.
believe, months ago. I met with him maybe 2 months ago. We were talking about different marketing ideas, and he mentioned something that has worked wonders for me. And it's whenever you market anything you do or any listing, try to also market something that brings value to the person. So if you just say like, "Oh, I just sold this property," that's not really providing a lot of value to the
Right.
reader. But if you say, or if you post something about the 10 best colors to paint a home before you list it, that provides value to the person. So,
Exactly.
I typically put stuff on about news and about the real estate market in Miami. So I engage my connections or my network into what's going on in Miami, and automatically I'm gonna be on top of their mind because they read it from my feed.
Exactly. I love that. That's awesome. So that was a great kind of thing to finish it on, besides the three questions that I want to ask you. One of those being, what do you think, or what do you find is your favorite tool in real estate? Is it an app? Is it a CRM? Is it not your phone? Because we all know that's it. So besides your phone.
So no, it's not my phone. Well, it works in my phone.
Right.
Yeah, well, at Compass we have the marketing tool. To
Right.
me, being able to create social media pieces, to create presentations in a matter of probably less than 5 minutes,
Right.
it helps so much because you don't have to go through a long process. You don't have to contact a graphic designer to put something together. You
Right.
can get stuff done within minutes and put it out there.
Right. So give us one that everybody has access to, even if they're not at Compass.
Sorry, something that what?
Give
Sorry.
us another one. So that's a great Compass tool, but not everybody's at Compass. So give us another one that's good. That is a good tool, by the way. It makes even the worst stuff look great. But what's another tool like that anybody has access to?
Actually, social media. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely Facebook and marketing. Sorry, Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
But it's what keeps people engaged with you and your business.
Exactly. And in those platforms, you have so much control of, you can do target marketing, boost marketing, all of that good stuff. So next
Exactly.
question. Is there a book, and if yeah, know you read, but if you didn't read, if you there's a speaker you like better, either or, tell us what that would be that you would recommend all of us look into.
It was definitely a book. It was a book I read my last year in college, my senior year. It's
Mm-hmm.
called the Walmart Effect.
Ah, the Walmart effect. Okay.
Um, it's a book that helped me basically understand the local market. So, in other words, if you have such a big company coming into cities, it changes the market completely.
Right.
It's just what Amazon is going through right now with their second headquarters. Every city is desperate to have Amazon, move in because it's just going to bring so many high-paying jobs that
Was
it's
on
going
the
to
radio
help the
this
real
morning.
estate
Yeah.
industry.
Okay, so tell us, give us the Walmart effect though. That book itself, kind of what is the message? What is the story behind the Walmart effect?
It's actually a sad message. Basically, the like a brief summary is where Walmart goes, the local businesses kind of go bankrupt
Yeah.
because Walmart takes their business away. But I'm looking at it from a different point of view of when a big company moves in, markets change. I'm sorry, local markets change.
Right.
You're going to see maybe an increase in jobs. Maybe it could be higher paying, lower paying. but there's definitely an increase in jobs. Um, Real estate gets positively affected because when you have such a big company move in,
Mm-hmm.
if there's a space for them to lease, they typically build. So you have an increase in commercial real estate, an increase even in construction.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely affects either positively or negatively any local market.
Interesting.
That's kind
And
of
what
what I
about the
took out
Walmart? But what about the Walmart effect? Like, what got your attention? What personal experience in your life got your, why the Walmart effect for you?
for me.
But why do you like that book? Because you're not dealing with Walmart. Walmart's already in Miami.
Because it has helped me explain my clients how markets can change.
Yeah. Okay. I gotcha.
Second, to give you a very brief example of something that's going on in Miami. So you have the center of the city, which is downtown and Brickell, the financial
Mm-hmm.
district, is near the water, and then in between that financial district, going west, you have single family homes, and that area, of course, that space is very limited. And then
Mm-hmm.
you have the whole downtown district. So prices, that's why one of the reasons why prices are going have increased so much in the past couple of years because there's no more land. So as the city grows, that space that those properties and those lots become more valuable. So
Right.
uh, it's kind of the Walmart effect. You have so much
Yeah.
growth that everything gets, of course, it's going to get more expensive because there's land is limited.
Exactly. I can't wait to read that book. All right. So, what is the one thing that you hope that I and our listeners get out of this interview? If there's just one, what would you have it? What would you make sure it was?
Definitely invest in yourself. Definitely listen to others. There's a lot of people with experience. Network, get to know them, ask questions. Definitely don't be stubborn. We don't know everything, and also go out
Right.
there and make connections. That's, I mean, it's key.
You're
You
good at
know,
that. Yeah. You're
business
excellent at making
depends on
connections.
the
So
people
that
we
was a
know.
lot. I think you gave us like six. Invest in yourself, listen to others, network, and I think you said listen again, maybe, or maybe you didn't. I wrote it down twice. And make connections. And there was another one in there, but they were all good. But basically, it's really just listen, take into account your environment, and that's where the Walmart effect even comes into play with you. Like really, like step back, look at the moving parts, take it all in, and position yourself accordingly.
Yeah, and also follow up.
Follow up, yeah. What are we going to name this podcast, Isaac? A lot and follow. So follow up, listen, don't be stubborn, network, connect, and don't be afraid to invest in yourself. You have to invest in yourself because that's where it all starts. Awesome.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you, Francisco. Good to see you.
Thank you so much.